Warning, this review contains very minor story spoilers from the first few hours of the game.
What the?
3 years after surviving the twisted mindscape within Beacon Mental Hospital, Sebastian Castellanos has been kicked off the force and seeks solace in the Source. After barely mentioning her in the first game, the former detective is now fraught with anguish over the death of his daughter Lily. And we know this because the opening scene graphically shows the flesh melting off her 5-year-old face.
Lily! No!
You didn't save me!
If you played the first game, you know what to expect from the Evil Within 2's gameplay, a mix of ammo-conserving stealth takedowns that can eventually give way to shoot-'em-up action once you've amassed enough upgrades and munitions. Some enemies are tougher or faster than others, but none are particularly smarter, so whichever playstyle you prefer, it will no doubt take you far. That said, I hope you don't mind having to occasionally line up the perfect stealth kill sequence or die trying, because early on, one misstep can easily result in you being spotted, swarmed, and slain in a matter of seconds. This sequel also completely ditches the original's match mechanic, where unburned corpses could potentially revive at any time. And surprisingly, we found ourselves missing those matches a little bit. Yes, it was highly annoying whenever you ran out, but it also created some truly terrifying moments of panicked cremation and a looming distrust of the dead bodies you left in your wake. But back to the plot, and right at the start, Sebastian's former partner turned double agent Julie Kidman appears with news.
Lily's still alive.
Lily didn't die in that house fire after all. Yay! And Sebastian must rescue her by delving back into the shared consciousness of the STEM system.
You connected Lily to that machine?
However, you've no choice but to brave the undead dangers of Union, a virtual small town that's twisting in on itself. It quickly becomes apparent that trying to rationalise anyone's motivations or the logistics of the Evil Within 2's impossibly convenient plot devices is a fool's errand. All you need to know is that Sebastian is back, and he's ready to kill any and all freaky monsters to save his daughter. However, this time he looks and sounds a bit off, as both Castellanos and Kidman have new voice actors.
What the?
When the presentation shines though, it really gets under your skin in all of the right ways, and there will definitely be times when you'll absolutely dread the notion of having to take a single step further down a dark hallway. Highlights include this creeptastic photographer who was evidently inspired by the interior design of PT. The finely tuned audio is also full of insidious little noises that'll make the hairs on your neck prickle right up, or coax you into a false sense of security with vaguely foreboding classical music. Usually though, a sense of crushing suspense or a fleeting moment of pure creepiness are far more effective and exhilarating than the final payoff, which is too often a telegraphed jump scare.
Help! Help me!
Although that could be said about plenty of horror entertainment. The character models also seem to have taken on an eerie, rubbery look, struggling to emote in ways that could possibly make the so-so dialogue hit home. In fact, the graphics make an odd departure from the first game across the board. Somehow, despite the fact that this sequel wasn't made with the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions in mind, the visual presentation has taken a step backwards. Where the original game made great use of grimy textures and dark visual filters to give the world an air of rust, intestinal slime and decay, The Evil Within 2 feels like it's trying to make every little thing pop. The result is a visual style that feels oddly vibrant given the overall vibe of the game. You can spot reanimated zombies from a mile away by how much they contrast with the environment, as if this is an old school episode of Scooby-Doo where you can clearly pinpoint what can and can't move at any given moment. It's by no means an ugly game, excluding the purposely hideous monsters of course, but compared to The Evil Within's lavish, gory intersection of serrated metal and soft organs, the lack of a distinct, cohesive look for the sequel is disappointing. Weapons-wise, once you've collected and come to grips with a few firearms, from a total of 6, you'll quickly find that you don't really need to conserve your resources all that much, at least on survival, which is normal difficulty. If you so choose, which I absolutely do, to play Sebastian as a loose cannon zombie killer who isn't afraid of anything, you can safely go in guns blazing as long as you take the time to snatch up the myriad of crafting items you'll find along the way. They'll be littered around the quasi-open world districts of Union, which benefit from explored exploration in exchange for the occasional bit of backtracking. As with the first game, the crafting is largely uninteresting though. The only mechanic to remember is that crafting on the fly uses up more resources than doing so at a designated workbench. So, in other words, never craft on the fly. So The Evil Within 2 doesn't take the rich, psychologically disturbing premise and aesthetics of the first game to their full potential. If anything, it regresses in a few unfortunate ways, but despite its rough edges, this third-person thriller is still strangely enjoyable, just like hanging out with Mr. Castellanos. We give it 3.5 stars. Let us know what you think about The Evil Within in the comments below. Click the boxes on the left for more content from us, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews and features right here on GamesRadar Plus.